On today's A Match Made in Heaven, we're going to read Love from the Sky. Clement William Scott once said, "Oh, promise me that someday you and I will take our love together to some sky where we can be alone and faith renew and find the hollows where those flowers grew." Beautiful quote. While I was growing up, my mother worked as a nurse for a doctor in New Zealand. The two grew to be very close friends and remained so even after Doc relocated to America. When I too moved from New Zealand to California as a young woman, Doc became a surrogate father to me. I adored Doc and often looked to him for advice and guidance. But when I reached my late 30s, he began to fret and cluck like a mother hen about the fact that I wasn't married yet. I was secretly relieved that his opportunities for matchmaking had been sharply curtailed by my move to New York a few years earlier. Doc, however, didn't let the distance stop him from mentoring me through his frequent phone calls. One afternoon, Doc's assistant, Marilyn, who was also single and nearing 40, was in the middle of explaining to Doc that, yes, we'd both love to get married, but no, it wasn't that easy to find a husband. He just shook his head in disbelief and said, "You girls must not be trying very hard." Exasperated, Marilyn replied, "Do you think God is just going to drop a man out of the sky for each of us to—" Before Marilyn could complete her sentence, they heard a commotion outside. Looking out the window, they saw 3 hang glider pilots fall from the sky and land in the field facing Doc's office, just below Mount Whitney in the high Sierras. Incredulous, Marilyn and Doc rushed out to greet them. As Doc and Marilyn chatted with the glider pilots, Doc was thrilled to discover they were from New Zealand. When Doc learned that the handsome trio was touring the U.S., he began telling them all the exciting places they should visit. "And you certainly should go to New York City." Bill, one of the pilots, asked, "Why? There's no hang gliding there." "That's true," Doc replied, "but New York is one of the most exciting cities in the world. You can't visit our country without seeing it." The pilots grew intrigued as Doc gave them a vivid description of New York. "We have a friend from New Zealand who lives there, and I know she'd be happy to show you around the town," Doc told them. Before the pilots had a chance to decline, Doc called me on the phone. Soon I was chatting amicably with one of the pilots, and the next thing I knew, all 3 men were coming to visit me in New York. I was quite taken with the pilot named Bill, who was a textile engineer in New Zealand. Bill and I struck up a friendship, which quickly blossomed into romance. We got together whenever he visited America on his way to Europe to compete in hang gliding events, and we would laugh about the fact that he had to travel 10,000 miles to see the girl next door. Eventually, we decided that home for each of us was wherever the other was. Doc, our very much delighted matchmaker, gave me away when Bill and I were married in Doc's oceanside home. Today, whenever I run into a single woman who's still waiting and praying for a husband, I encourage her not to lose hope. You just never know, I say with a grin, when God might drop a wonderful husband right out of the sky. And that story is from Michelle Fisher. Love from the Sky. Hang gliders.